Alright, so now I want to work on different ways to incorporate solar energy into our off-grid cooking. And there are so many ways to do it, and I'm sure you've probably encountered different systems of like solar cookers and solar ovens and maybe a couple different things. And a lot of them, they can be really simple. They can also be really complicated. And you know, if you've been following me a while, you know that I like to do things as simply as possible with no fuss at all, preferably. So I think what I want to do is rather than just get right into like just making boxes and stuff like that and cover them with foil, and we'll get to that, but in fact those are some of the more complicated ways to do things, and they're complicated logistically sometimes too, because you have to be in a situation in which you can use those kinds of things. So like, you know, it's not really handy when I'm just in the middle of town to be pulling out my big solar box, and it's like, what am I going to do? Go to the store and just leave my big, you know, solar oven on the hood of the truck or something like that? It doesn't really work that way. One project I've been wanting to do for a long time is incorporate one into the roof, and now I'm on a roof design that doesn't that I don't really want to poke holes into it. There's just so many leak issues with putting holes in a roof that this time around I think, yeah, maybe I'm not going to put any holes in the roof. So that has all along left me with opportunities, you could say, to come up with creative ways to keep things simple and still use solar energy and save some money on propane and just, you know, have some fun with just trying some different stuff out. So the first one I want to show you is just basically, it's like a hack. It's just a hack, a way to use solar energy, and it's using the fact that inside of your truck, in fact I'm going to have at least two of them like this. There's two of them that I use more often, and in the process I might even come up with another one, but at least two. First one's just a hack, and then another one just requires a little bit more building, and maybe that'll be like a third or fourth video in. But the first one is literally just a hack that you can just throw together in less than a minute. If you need, you know, you're in town, you're going to go be, you know, shopping or something for a couple hours, and you want something to be ready when you come back without like leaving a stove running, which, you know, you should not do. And you'll, you know, besides that, you'll leave a lot of, you know, you'll use up a lot of propane in the process. You're not watching, and it's all terrible. So you would want to have a system that cooks on its own, and it's just kind of fun. Different from thermal cooking, and in this case I usually use it for something that's not, doesn't, I don't know, I suppose I could try to do thermal cooking, but I had never even considered that it might work. So let's get around to it. It's seriously just a hack, using the fact that the inside of your car is basically a solar oven, right? You close the door, you come back to it in an hour, and it's really, really hot in there. It's over 100 degrees easily, and so the question is, can you use this to you know, improve your cooking? Could you actually cook with this? Well, 100 degrees isn't necessarily enough to cook with. You might want it to get a little bit hotter in there, but you don't want to heat up the whole thing. You don't want to do that. But is there a way to take advantage of it? And there totally is. So I've got two ways. The first one is just it's just a trick. I'm going to use the windshield thing here, which, you know, I think I decided this because it was a hot day. I was facing the traffic. I mean, I'm sorry, I was facing the sun, and so I knew it was going to be really hot, so this was already set up. I'm giving it a second to set it up. So now we got this set up. Now you might start thinking, got a piece of glass, you got reflective material behind it, and you also got a very hot truck, which is it's decreasing, the scientific way to say it would be, is decreasing the temperature gradient in there. So if it was really cold in there, the heat would want to just leak right back into the truck. But since it's hot in there, it tends to want to just stay here, or at least it would leak a little bit more slowly than it would otherwise. And it's reflecting a lot of the sun back through the window, but we got the window coating and stuff is going to prevent a lot of it from escaping. Not a lot of it is really just going to just bounce right back off, and you can tell because you can look at it and you can see it. But the fact that it's not blinding you is telling you that a lot of it is being trapped in there. And we can find out for a fact that it is trapping things in there when we actually cook. So how do we take advantage of this? It's really pretty easy. You just wedge something in there, and then it will cook itself over the course of time. It's not going to get up to boiling temperature, but over if you're going to be shopping for an hour or two, you can come back and expect something to be warm. So it's good for things that don't require like a lot of intense heat. So one of the things I usually do is I put in some veggie dogs, and I'll put them in, where's my little bag? Here. You just get yourself one of these little bags. It's one of these, it's a cook in the bag, steam in the bag kind of things. You could also use oven roasting bags. Those are completely clear, but it's not actually necessary for it to be completely clear. So what I'll do in this case, so I might like put some burgers or something in there. It's good for a lot of things that don't do well with thermal cooking, since things you don't want to stick in the water. And in this case, like I'll often do a can of soup, but I'm just going to heat up a can of beans, and I'm just going to stick it in there. Oh, though actually, there's one more thing that I need to do. You could just put it in there, but there's another way to increase the heating of this, and it has to do with just, you need to add some black in there, which it would kind of work, but the thing is, when you got a lot of, like, flip it around, this one just has a lot of white surface, and the white surface just wants to reflect it away. The fact that you can see the white color means that it is in fact reflecting back as the color white at the very least. You want something that absorbs the color, doesn't reflect any light back, so put something black in there. So it's an easy solution for that. It's just to stick it in. I have this old clean sock that I use for this purpose, and so I'll just stick it in the sock. Now it's black, and then this becomes essentially a solar oven because the light can still get in here. It'd be better if it was clear. If you can find some of these bags that are clear, I haven't seen any, but this one wants to have like all the instructions and branding and stuff on there. So just do that and just wedge it in there. Just sticking it right in there like that, and you can actually line up a whole bunch of these things in there, and you can sort of make yourself sort of a parabolic reflector if you want. You can go that far. So there you go. One other thing to mention is, like, it's already warm in here. It's just like I've only been doing this for a minute. It's really warm in there.